Hello, I'm Adam, your unequaled, unparalleled, and unrivaled COO of BlampCo Incorporated, and welcome to the first episode of a brand new series, Board Games Most Wanted, where I do a deep dive on a game I believe to be essential for your collection. And oh boy, the word collection has never been such a goddamn threat as it is when talking about this game. We are talking about Unmatched. Oh, sorry, did I say unmatched? I meant unmatched. Now, I'm not sure if you're able to tell, but I am a collector, and since it started in 2019, Unmatched has basically become my collection's collection. I dip into everything else. I've got some Euros, some party games, some thematic, some abstracts. I've got some, but not all of the top 10 on BGG, some, but not all of the GIF project, which is even more annoying because they're numbered on the side, so I have to stare at the boxes like this, and it drives me mad. And hell, some, but not all, of the expansions for one of my forever favorite games, Cosmic Encounter. However, as of recording, I have all of Unmatched, all 21 released boxes, apart from Battle of Legends Volume 3, because it hasn't been released in the UK, even though America has had it for weeks now. Thanks, America, very fucking much. And just going by the recommended retail price, ignoring deals you can make, or the inflated prices of some of the out-of-print sets on the second-hand market, this collection is worth, I don't want to say the number out loud, but it is apparently worth this. By the time they stop making it, which doesn't look anytime soon, I will have spent well over $1,000 on just one part of my board game collection, one that will eventually collapse and bury me alive. Why? Well, first of all, idiot, never discount that, but also the parts of me that make me a collector are, I like stats, I like rankings, I like being able to experience the entirety of a thing that I enjoy so I can sort it, fully catalog my enjoyment of it, own it, divining order from chaos, and also, idiot, do I think you should do this? No, not necessarily, but I do bring up the cost not as a cautionary tale, but because the concept of value in board gaming is really interesting to me, especially with a system like Unmatched. After all, an expensive game you play 100 times suddenly becomes an inexpensive game if you cost it per hour of enjoyment. How replay value augments that idea, the potential for experimentation, this idea of potential value. Collecting anything gets expensive, and that's definitely true of board games. But I'm going to try to tell you why Unmatched is the most valuable part of my board game collection, break it down into good points of entry into the franchise, and maybe even steer you away from some things that you don't particularly need, unless you're like me and you have to own every facet of something you care about, because otherwise the world will end. The first Unmatched box came out in 2019, but actually the story of this franchise begins over 20 years ago with a different game, 2002's Star Wars Epic Duels, released by Milton Bradley, an old-ass board gaming company that specialized in those long, thin, rectangular board games that seemed to be the only shape board games came in before the 1990s. I had a bunch of Milton Bradley games, mostly because before they were bought by Hasbro in 1984, they published most games that normals know as board games, especially in the UK, games like Guess Who, Operation, Jenga, Twister, Axis and Allies, Connect 4, Buckaroo, Battleship, and of course, Shrunken Head Apple Sculpture featuring Vincent Price. And that, by the way, is real. From within the Hasbro corporate family, which one imagines is a family that looks like the Succession family, everyone jockeying for power once Mr. Monopoly has a massive stroke, Milton Bradley made Star Wars Epic Duels, designed by Craig Van Ness, and crucially, with assistance from someone working as an in-house designer for Hasbro at the time, Rob Daviau, a Mount Rushmore board game designer. Rob Daviau is most commonly known for two things, being the creator of the legacy game concept when he first created Risk Legacy, and being one of the co-founders of Restoration Games. More on them in a little bit. Star Wars Epic Duels was a skirmish game, definition being a game involving often miniatures on a map engaged in small battles, mostly involving maneuvering, positioning, and the importance of individual pieces having individual powers. The box came with a whopping 12 characters with sidekicks and minis for all of them. The minis might be a little derpy looking, a bunch of melty boys and their big glowing sausages, and the maps are wonky bits of naff looking cardboard, and the game only in fact lasted for 2 years in print, but the game clung on in people's minds, and with other Star Wars miniatures games producing better figurines of a vast universe of characters, fans would repurpose those minis and keep modding Star Wars Epic Duels, creating their own decks and a vibrant niche within a niche within a niche. 17 years later, Restoration Games bought Star Wars Epic Duels out of its carbonite suspension and retooled it to become Unmatched. Gone was the Star Wars license with its dogshit single still image from the film's artwork, the bane of licensed board gaming. Out was rolling a dice to move your character, and gone were fiddly line of sight rules. In were public domain historical and mythological characters, a much clearer targeting system inspired by games like Tannhauser, and most importantly of all, drop dead gorgeous artwork from a collaboration with Mondo, a company that specializes in drop-dead gorgeous movie and pop culture posters. This is what Restoration Games does. They're a studio co-founded by Justin D. Jacobson and Rob Davio, whose MO is going back into gaming's past and selecting games, a lot actually originally published by Milton Bradley and Hasbro, and rescuing them or restoring them with updated rules, top-tier production, and often stunning artwork. They have made my current favorite game of all time, Thunder Road Vendetta, re-implementing Thunder Road from 1986. They've remade Fireball Island, also from 1986, into Fireball Island Curse of Volcar, which is one of the coolest all-caps toys in board gaming, featuring a plastic island and a volcano that spews lava balls. They have made, Jesus Christ, Return to Dark Tower, a remake of 1981's Dark Tower, and a game that features a goddamn Bluetooth iPad-operated tower that spits plastic skulls and turns and makes noises, and oh my god, it's amazing. And in 2019, they made Unmatched, a game that I feel a kind of a way about. And even not taking into account great games they've done like Downforce, a retooling of a German racing game, Restoration Games are officially my favorite board gaming publishing house ever. Thunder Road Vendetta, Unmatched, Return to Dark Tower, they have a brilliant eye for both design and the kind of production value that only a genuine love of the medium can create. Unmatched launched in 2019 with 3 boxes. Battle of Legends Volume 1, a 2-pack featuring Bigfoot and Robin Hood, and its first licensed box, Bruce Lee, a solo fighter. 7 fighters in total, each with their own unique decks, each with their own unique powers, and their own gorgeous little miniature playing one-on-one. That is, time for some unmaths, 21 different matchups right there, and crazy matchups are the elevator pitch of Unmatched, a more nuanced version of the zany mimetic conundrums of who would win in pirates versus ninja combat, dinosaurs versus zombies, who would be the victor in the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny. That roster of 7 has, in the last 6 years, swelled to 59, meaning that Unmatched gives you the chance to have Dracula versus Buffy Summers, Spider-Man versus Bigfoot, Hamlet versus Ghost Rider, or Sherlock Holmes versus a T-Rex. But beyond the monkey dishwasher kookiness of that, each character has such clever design, their own little games within games, and the emergent joy of discovering what happens when one OP power set runs into another OP power set, that each random silly matchup feels like a unique little treat. There are 59 characters, but one simple rule set that serves as the spine of Unmatched, and the game's genius is in how simple that spine is, allowing it to be bent in a number of different ways by different characters, but without ever breaking. You have a map that you're fighting on, and in a standard game, 2 heroes. Some fight alone, some come with sidekicks, some come with multiple sidekicks. The aim of the game is to do damage to your opponent's hero, so their health dial goes all the way down to 0. That is the fundamental rule of Unmatched. Kill the other hero. The sidekicks might die, they often do, but the game only ends when one hero is left standing. You have a deck of cards, you have a hand of cards, and on your turn you must do 2 actions. There are only 3 possible actions: attack, maneuver, and scheme. You can do multiple of the same action or 2 different ones, but you must do 2 actions on your turn. First of all, Attack! All characters can attack their opponent if they are adjacent to them on a space that's one black line away from them. Melee characters can only attack this way. Ranged characters have a little bit more freedom and can attack anyone in their zone. For example, Medusa, you're ranged, aren't you? Now, there's no silly line of sight rules, no drawing a line on a map with a ruler. Are you on the same colored space as your opponent? Pink? Pink? Then fucking go nuts. The first ever ranged character in Unmatched was Medusa, and trying to get close enough to her as she scampers away but is still in the same zone as you so she can take pot shots. That is an example of just how some characters feel very different to play. When you attack, you just play a card face down, either a red card that can only be used for attacking, or a purple versatile card that can be used for attack and defense. Your opponent can then choose, if they're able to play a card in defense. Either a blue card that can only be used for defense, or again, a purple versatile card that can be used for attack or defense. The amount of damage taken is the value of the attack minus the value of the defense. Play a 4 attack against a 2 defense, the defender takes 2 damage. Real math ones know. Next, maneuver, an annoying word to spell. You spell it right now, you fucking can't, can you? Anyway, this is probably the cleverest piece of design in the system. This one action covers both movement and hand management. When you maneuver, you first take a card from your deck into your hand. That part is mandatory. Then you can, but you don't have to, move. Every character has a move value. Mostly it's 2, but some nippy fuckers like the Velociraptors can move 3. So if I maneuver, I must take a card and then move all of my fighters, heroes and sidekicks up to the move value. So with one action, I can move Arthur 1, 2, but I could also move his sidekick Merlin 1, 2 in the same action. Now, moving 2 is not very much, but if you want to move further, you can. See, each card comes with a little black circle. That is called your boost number. If you want to, when you move, you can discard a card from your hand, add its boost number to your movement. So discarding this card adds 2 to my movement value. So that suddenly raises it to 4, which means that Arthur can move 4 in one turn, same as Merlin. If you really need to get out of dodge or run your opponent down, you can discard a really powerful card because they tend to have higher boost numbers. But in doing so, you are losing a really good card from your hand in order to get across the map, and that is a really good decision space. Adam likes a really good decision space. And sacrifice is the word, because often when you discard a card, it is gone forever. Unlike most games, including the original Star Wars Epic Duels, when your deck runs out, you don't get to shuffle your discards into a new deck. Instead, you are just out of cards for the rest of the game, and anytime you would have to draw a card, aka whenever it is you maneuver, aka whenever it is you want to actually fucking move, you take 2 damage. It's called exhaustion, and it's deadly, and it also makes sure that no game of one-on-one Unmatched lasts much longer than 30 to 40 minutes. Finally, scheme. The third and easiest action, play a scheme card and do what it says. That's it. That is the core of Unmatched. It is such a simple rule set, and like perennial favorite Cosmic Encounter, the rule set's so simple, it leaves ample room for characters to come in and break one aspect of its fundamental rule set, and in doing so, become brilliantly OP. King Arthur, not just able to boost his movement, he can boost his attacks as well. You'd think that would be really powerful. You glass cannon bastard. King Arthur's power, when it works, lets him feel like a tank. Robin Hood lets you move every time you attack, meaning he's incredibly hard to pin down. Bigfoot lets you draw cards if you end your turn with no one else in your zone, which means he regroups really quickly through the power of being left the hell alone. Spider-Man knows the value of all attack cards played against him, his spidey sense giving him a better chance to react and dodge. The Invisible Man can use fog tokens as portals, teleporting around the board, making him everywhere and nowhere. All powers are strong, all powers are game-breaking, and best of all powers are thematically tied to their characters. Arrgh! This asymmetry is the beating heart of the system, and after 6 years, the designers have a proven track record of honoring interesting characters with interesting gameplay mechanics that build, adapt, and alter the core rules of the game, so much so that by this point, there is a perfect character out there for all different types of gamer. Do you get off on knowledge, thwarting your opponent's plans and turning their own powers against them? Then you'll love playing as Sherlock Holmes, who can peek at and tinker with his opponent's hand. Also, Watson has a gun, which is a different kind of knowledge. Bang, bang! Do you like living dangerously, taking huge risks and flying by the seat of your pants with only a few cards in your hand? Then you'll love playing as Daredevil, who gets more powerful the fewer cards and options he has left. He's an adrenaline junkie. Are you a comborific gamer who bides their time, builds the perfect hand, then unleashes it all at once? Then you'll love playing as Bruce Lee, who can chain attacks together and kill his opponents in one go if you get it just right. Do you like dinosaurs and don't really care all that much about winning? Because actually this is a deceptively hard character to win as. You just like being a huge fucking awesome dinosaur? Then you'll love playing as Harry Houdini. I'm just kidding. This huge goddamn T-Rex. Escape this, you Hungarian fuck. And speaking of my boy, you can't get enough of top 10 lists, can you, you greedy little gremlin? So here are my Adam's top 10 most fun unmatched characters to play as. Number 10, Nikola Tesla. He uses Tesla coils, which makes sense, to augment his attacks. You charge him up and he's a goddamn powerhouse. Number 9, Bullseye. I just like what problem this guy is. He can hit you from 5 spaces away, which means that no matter where you run to, he's almost always in range and never lets you rest. Number 8, Bloody Mary, one of those programming characters. You have to play cards in 3s in order to maximize her powers, which is a really fun puzzle, and also the art's really wonderful and scary. Number 7, Shakespeare. Built into his power set are building lines of dialogue in iambic pentameter and nabbing bonuses if you build good ones. Playing him involves saying lines out loud in your best Shakespearean voice, and also killing actors. I like both of those things. Number 6, Achilles. Most characters are crippled when their sidekick dies. Achilles goes Super Saiyan, making him crazy powerful pretty much all of the time. Number 5, the Invisible Man. He may be weak, but he can teleport and be a now you see me, now you don't little trickster bastard, and I really like being mischievous. Number 4, Elektra. A ridiculously OP character, has a smaller deck than everyone else, but overcompensates by being able to die and then come back to life stronger. Also, she's got a fucking army of ninjas, holy shit. Number 3, T-Rex. Rise, a big fucking dinosaur though. Number 2, Bruce Lee. I like biding my time and then one-shotting fools. In the right hands, Bruce Lee is an utter menace. And number 1, Sherlock Holmes. My boy. Peeks at your hand, removes some of your cards, hits you with your own cards, and again, it bears repeating, Watson's got a gun. Also, their powers can't be cancelled, which means no one fucks with your plans. They are the best boys. Unmatched has tackled so many IPs and fan bases and done them well that with each announcement, some corner of nerd culture suddenly gets incredibly excited. Every Unmatched fan has a set at the top of their wish list, partly because those characters will be so much fun to play as, and partly because, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to talk about it, everyone wants to see that art. Even though Unmatched is no longer produced in collaboration with Mondo and hasn't been since Mondo was bought by Funko, of the Pops fame, the art was the major selling point of the system at first. Most sets have different artists, but a graphic designer called Oliver Barrett worked on the first 4 boxes, helping to establish a stunning style. Stylized, cool, striking, beautiful iconography, really kinetic, really exciting, proper movie poster stuff. Just look at this selection of some of the best cards from his run. Other top artists from the industry have dropped in to contribute design and aesthetics. Artists like Ian O'Toole, Heather Vaughn, Yuta Onoda, Zoe Van Dijk, and many, many more. It makes the game feel so much more alive in your hands, not just on the cards, but in the form of those amazing minis as well. All of them come like this now, washed to give a decent shading and texture, but they are so much fun to paint. This is Bigfoot. He is the first mini I ever painted in this hobby. I learned how to paint for Unmatched because I thought, again, it would add to that blockbuster, smackdown, cinematic feel. If the card art is so beautiful, I need to try and make the minis pop too, and that's part of each of the boxes' value, not just cool new ways to play Unmatched, not just a deck of amazing artwork, but brilliant new minis to paint. Look at the ones I still haven't painted. I haven't painted the Witcher ones, I haven't painted all of the Shakespeare, or look at little Titania. I just want to hold up these minis and say, look at them, look at it. Looking at it all now, it does feel like a populated little universe. And with 59 official characters released, again, written before Battle of Legends Volume 3, that is, hang on, time for more unmaths, a unique pair count of 1,711. When Battle of Legends Volume 3 featuring Blackbird, Loki, Pandora and the Chupacabra drops in the UK, that number somersaults to 1,953. Am I saying you're gonna play that many games? No, but when the system is one that consistently rewards asymmetry and experimentation, that does mean that the value of an Unmatched collector's collection increases in value exponentially with each box you buy. And that is all the justification I need, thank you very much. And that's not even taking into account the unofficial fan decks. There's a site called unmatched.cards with literally hundreds of pages of fan-created decks. This is a community that's almost too thriving. Name a franchise, there is probably a character deck you can pick up, print, and play with. Sam and Dean Winchester from Supernatural. Yep, Stephen King characters. You've got Jack Torrance, Carrie White. Hell, Stephen King himself is in there because this rule set is so flexible and easily modded. You can create till your heart stops beating. Jesus Christ. That's not blasphemy, that's a reference to the 6 different Jesus Christ decks that people have created. Restoration Games have handled Jurassic Park, Victorian literature, Buffy, 5 Marvel sets, 2 Witcher sets, Shakespeare, they've got a Ninja Turtles box coming out, and a 2-box featuring a partridge versus a pear tree. People are dying to see their favorite characters get made, and as a short tangent, here are my personal 5 unmatched sets I most want to see. Number 5, A Galaxy Far, Far Away, which would feature Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker versus Yoda versus Emperor Palpy Pops. Number 4, Let's A Go, Mario versus Bowser versus Princess Zelda versus Samus Aran. Number 3, License to Kill, James Bond versus Jaws versus Blofeld versus Pussy Galore. I must be dreaming. Number 2, Oh Death, the Grim Reaper versus Hades versus Santa Muerte versus Baron Samedi in my personal most wanted box. Number 1, Hack and Slash, Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers versus Ghostface. I want that right now on my table. Please and thank you, Restoration Games. The system rewards experimentation so much that Restoration Games themselves modded the system in 2023, creating Tales to Amaze, a cooperative variant on the game that lets heroes team up against NPCs big bads, in this case Mothman or an alien invasion. These villains are controlled by a random deck and a random initiative order as everyone else plays regular unmatched against the baddie and their horrible sidekicks. This game comes with 4 great heroes which you can use in regular unmatched fights. If you've watched the first episode of The Boardroom, you've seen Jill Trent in action, but in the true modular spirit of Unmatched, any character previously released can be used in the Tales to Amaze system. So you could have Sinbad teaming up with Squirrel Girl to take on Mothman, or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde teaming with 3 velociraptors against an alien horde. This is a game with ridiculous elevator pitches woven seamlessly into its very fabric. Another Tales to Amaze is coming this year, adding 4 new fighters, all 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja fucking Turtles against either Krang or Shredder. Everyone's very excited about this one, especially because Krang and Shredder are also getting their own proper decks, so you can play regular unmatched with Krang and especially Shredder. The Mothman and aliens, they didn't have official ones Except there was a competition to see who could design the best decks for them. It was signed off by Restoration Games, and the winning decks were put online for anyone to print off themselves. And look, here they are. Now you can play with the Mothman and the Alien Invasion. That's another 2 fighters added to the pile. Unmatched is a machine that sucks in money and spits out bare-knuckled, bloody-nosed whimsy. And while the ever-expansive and seemingly unlimited horizons of this skirmish system is the thing that lights the fire under my collector's bloomers, it's very tricky for new players to know where to start. Honestly, the average standard of Unmatched in terms of quality is so high that I would say, is there a particular IP/fictional character/concept that screams out to you as cool? Get that one. It'll be good enough for you to enjoy it. But if, like me, you only want to start with the best Unmatched boxes and see how you like it from there, please enjoy my comprehensive ranking of every single Unmatched box currently released in the UK. Again, Battle of Legends Volume 3 is not on here, but when I do get it from America, maybe I'll just release a community post saying where I put it in the ranking. This is why the American Revolution was a mistake. Let's start the ranking from worst to best. Worst is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Features the most boring character in the entire franchise, and indeed most franchises, Angel. Yeah, you heard me. And honestly, only Willow really captures that standard level of Unmatched quality. It's also quite hard to get hold of. Deadpool, only 1 character in the box, and it's more of a joke deck than a balanced deck. It's a fun joke though, although it's impossible nearly to get a hold of as he's out of print and they don't have the license anymore, so he won't be coming back. Teen Spirit, Cloak and Dagger have an interesting pair dynamic, and Squirrel Girl introduces small fighters to the series. Both, however, both those characters are really punishingly hard to actually win with. Ms. Marvel is great though. Redemption Row, Luke Cage is a little too OP to be fun to play against, and Moon Knight's power is a bit of a pain to sequence right, but Ghost Rider absolutely rips ass. The Witcher, Realms Fall, the lesser of the 2 Witcher sets, with 1 super weak character in Philippa, although Eridan is fairly fucking brilliant. Sun's Origin, all boxes from this point are good to great, it just depends on preference. Not my favorite art in this box, but both characters are fun and feel a bit more warlike in their tactics. For King and Country, probably the most complex Marvel box, but really fun, feels proper down and dirty, like you're working schemes within schemes. Little Red and Beowulf introduces doors, which are never used again, but Beowulf and Little Red are both fun, rewarding planning and hand management. Superb art as well, just by the way. Robin Hood and Bigfoot, the original 2-box. Bigfoot is crazy strong, and Robin Hood is the first to employ a little army of helpers. And also, some of the best art in the series is in this box. The Witcher, Steel and Silver, 3 wildly different characters, each a fun puzzle to play. Geralt especially rewarding players with a lot of unmatched knowledge, as he comes with different loadouts that can nerf OP characters. Brains and Brawn, a near perfect Marvel collection. Spider-Man's a little weak, but his Spidey sense is a really fun game to play. She-Hulk is a nightmare tank, and Doctor Strange is also, he's super fun. Great art on the lad as well. Sattler versus T-Rex. There's a big fucking T-Rex though. Actually, the T-Rex is a bit of a glass cannon. He runs hot and short, but it's a fun challenge. And Dr. Sattler is weirdly one of the best defensive characters in the whole series. Shame about the art in this collection, in my opinion, but you can't have everything. Really hard to track down a reasonably priced copy of this. Battle of Legends #1. No one likes King Arthur, but everyone loves Medusa and Sinbad, and Alice comes with the best art in the whole series, in my opinion. The first box ever released and the most simple to get on board with. Houdini and the Genie, proper little popcorn box this, with characters teleporting and supercharging abilities. 2 super enjoyably OP characters that are really fun to play as and against. Hell's Kitchen, the best Marvel box. All 3 characters have super fun internal games. One of the boxes I pull out most often to show how cool this system is. Bruce Lee, only 1 fighter, but jaw-dropping art and feels like a proper love letter to the inventor of Jeet Kune Do. Great in close quarters, ducks, weaves, and builds hands for amazing combos. Out of print right now, but will come back sometime soon in a 2-box alongside Muhammad Ali. I will also be buying that. InGen versus Raptors, dinosaurs, rawr. Multiple Raptors let you flank opponents. InGen are surprisingly great, laying traps all over the map. One of the only characters to actually interact with the map like that. Also, this is what dinosaur art should look like. Dr. Sattler and T-Rex. Look at the art in this one, then look at the art in this one. Slings and arrows. Sure, I am the dream audience for this shit, but it's a Shakespearean box. It's got 4 really fun characters with fairly complex games, but they're super satisfying when you get them working correctly, and the art is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous as well, especially the Hamlet deck. Battle of Legends 2. Great art, great characters, all of whom are legit badasses on the board, 2 of whom depart from the Western canon standard of the series, and also the minis are hella fun to paint. Tales to Amaze #1. Don't worry, I know that it's been on the shelf this whole time, but it's the only white box. And that boils my piss when it comes to the framing of this. This is a brilliant new way to play Unmatched. It's got top-notch production, but almost more than that, it's got 4 great new characters. Tesla might be one of the best of all time, and that leads us to the very, very best of Unmatched, in my opinion, Cobble and Fog. The best box. Super atmospheric, 4 really fun games, none of which are too complex, stunning artwork, and it comes with my boy, Sherlock Holmes. There you have it, an immersive, intensely collectible world of fictional and historical characters wrapped around a system that's easy to learn, but with ever-shifting depths, new tricks with every release. It's a system that's endlessly fun to master and modify. That is my deep dive into Unmatched, and hopefully now you have some idea as to why this is one of board games' most wanted. If you would like to see the game in action, we do have a playthrough on our YouTube channel. We'll be putting a link to that in the end credits. I am Adam from BlampCo Incorporated. Get back to work.